This is the PubMed Advanced Search page, and it's a really great place for complex searches. It has a query box. It has an area where you can look through several different search fields. You can use that to build searches by selecting a field. It also is where your search history will show up, and you can use different lines of your search history to build a complex search. My recommendation is that you start complex searches on the advanced search page and that you stay on the advanced search page. So instead of looking at the search results from the first, you would instead stay over here and add your search terms to the history just to see how much stuff you find. Okay, so first thing, I want to show you the difference between different ways of expressing the same concept. I talked about using mesh terms or medical subject headings for a concept, and I mentioned that the medical subject heading for wisdom teeth was molar, third. But even if I type in wisdom teeth and use the field mesh terms, I add that to my query and then add it to the history, it's going to go and look for that. So when I come over to my search history, I can expand the search details. And even though I typed in the characters for wisdom teeth, I typed it as a mesh term, and so it searched for every article in PubMed that's been indexed with molar, third. Okay. Now, let's say that I want to see the articles where that is the major topic. In other words, not just something that's mentioned in the article, but the article's focus is actually about wisdom teeth. If I add that to my history, I can see that there are fewer articles where wisdom teeth are the major topic. Now, another thing that I might want to do is just do a search where I have wisdom teeth in quotation marks because I want this exact phrase. And if I do this search and add it to my history, I'll have far fewer things because it looks for only that exact phrase. One thing I should mention about PubMed is that it doesn't have what's called proximity searching. In other words, you can't say, I'm looking for wisdom within 3 words of teeth. There are no characters that you can use to make that happen. Now I'm just going to do the search for wisdom teeth just on its own like that and add that to my history. And this is going to be the search where I find the most items of all. And if I expand the search details, I can see that first of all, when I typed this in, it went looking for the mesh term that matches this, and it pulled in the 6,534 results here. So those are part of this 11,707. Plus, it pulled in everything that had both the words in the mesh term. Plus, it pulled in all the articles that used a similar phrase, third molar. Plus, it pulled in all the articles that had the exactly what I typed in, which is wisdom teeth. And then here's a situation that I showed on one of the slides earlier, where you had that author whose name was Wisdom, and where teeth was mentioned elsewhere in the abstract, but it wasn't actually about wisdom teeth, because it's looking for wisdom anywhere in all fields and teeth anywhere. Now, if there are a whole lot of authors out there whose last name was Wisdom publishing a whole lot of articles about teeth, that would be really annoying, and it would be some stuff that I would want to cut out. And if that were happening, then I might restrict my search to the wisdom teeth as a mesh term with maybe wisdom teeth as a phrase, and combining those to see what I could get. But that's probably not the case. Another thing that I want to show you now is how you can add lines of a search. So in the normal way of doing a search, you might have several different aspects to your topic. Your topic might have some subtopics that include wisdom teeth, and then it might include painkillers or analgesics. We'll say we're going to add this to the history. And remember, a really best practice is to take those separate subtopics of your search and add them in separately. And so I'm going to say I'm looking for wisdom teeth and painkiller and clinical trials. And then you can use the features of the advanced search page on PubMed to add these things all together. Now, I could have put everything in all at once, wisdom teeth and painkillers or analgesics and clinical trials. But the reason I'm doing this separately is, let's say I typed in wisdom teeth and there were only 50 articles. Okay, let's just pretend that happened. Then I would need to come up with some more terminology so that I could get more stuff to describe this one subtopic of my topic. But we've got good stuff here, so this is how you add together the lines. I'm going to take my first query, wisdom teeth, and add it into the query box. Okay. I'm going to combine it using and with painkillers or analgesics, and notice that it nicely parenthesizes things for me. And then I'm going to combine that using and with clinical trials and add that to my history. And while PubMed thinks about that, it comes up with 633 articles. And again, it's helpful to expand your search details and see what all happened here. When you typed in painkillers, what did it go looking for? Notice that when I type in painkillers, it went looking for a search field called pharmacological action, and it got analgesics included in there. It also pulled analgesics as a mesh term, and then analgesics is just sort of a word. Plus, it got some variations on painkillers, like painkillers, but also got the singular, and then it also got pain killing. But it was still helpful to put in analgesics because when I put it in, it looked for some different variations of that as well. It looked for the singular, it looked for an adverb, it looked for the mesh term. So there's some duplication between analgesics mesh up here and painkillers and analgesics mesh down here and analgesics, but that's fine. And then clinical trial, it looked for that described as an article type or anywhere that it appeared. So now I'm actually going to look at some search results by clicking on the results number. And that's going to take me to the search results page in PubMed, and I'm going to start examining what I've got here. Your search results show up in sort of a blurb format, and you get to see your search terms in bold as they appear in the blurb. Right now, my search results are being displayed in the best match format, which is PubMed's default. I'm going to select that I would prefer to have mine display by publication date. Notice right now the first thing in my search results is from 2015, but I did publication date, and now the first thing in my search results is from November of 2019. I could also say that rather than having this sort of format here, if I chose, I could have the abstract format, which kind of gobbles up a lot of space on the page, but it is pretty handy to be able to see the abstract. However, when you go from this summary or blurb format to the abstract format, you are, I believe, going to lose some of the subject highlighting that you had in the blurb, as you can see. However, there are other advantages. If there is a Find It at UT button appearing that you can use, or if there's a PubMed Central button, that's going to be here. Plus, if there are any medical subject headings that describe the article, that's going to appear in there as well. Okay. And then you can use the display options as well to decide how many things you want to, how many search results you want to show on a page. And I think you can range from 5 up to 200 per page. Okay, so we've got 633. Now over here on the left-hand side where it says My Ncbi Filters, these are my Ncbi account customizations that I made, and those are things that you could do too over on the same page where you linked your My Ncbi account to the Find It at UT service. There was also a link for the option of signing up for different filters. And these filters just let you look at different subsets of your search results. So of my 633 results here, I can see that 509 are randomized controlled trials. And if I wanted to just look at that subset of my search results, I could do that. And this would show me the 509 that are randomized controlled trials. Okay. If I wanted to see just the ones where there's an author from UT Austin, it says there's 16, okay? So I could look at those, and then I could click all for all 633, and I could go back again to the entire set of search results that I have. Notice that there are also some buttons up here for some different things that you can do. Some of the things you can do once you have a My Ncbi account are you can save a search once you've compiled some search terms that are spot on for what you're looking for, and you want a search to be able to return to that combination of terms. You can save it. You can also set it up where it pushes those results out to you in an alert. You would create an alert, and then you would set options like I want it to run every Thursday for the next month or the next whatever. And how many search results do I want it to send me every Thursday for the next month? You could set up those options. You could email some things to yourself as you selected them from this page, or you could send you could send search results to, if you're using a tool like Zotero or EndNote, you could send search results that you select on this page to a citation manager. You could also have collections of search results where maybe you triage your way through these and you pick the ones of these 633 that are actually relevant for your work, and you would just pick them by selecting the boxes, like checking the boxes for each search result. So it shows that I have an item selected, and then you could send them to a collection. Okay, so those are the big features that you would use here. I'm going to go back to the advanced search page to show you a feature that's really important if you're doing a complex search, or especially if you're doing some form of review, be it a standard literature review or a scoping review or a systematic review or some type of review. If you're doing that kind of work, it's going to be really important to keep track of how you did that type of work. And so over here in PubMed, they offer you a really nifty tool for documentation of your work by letting you download your search history. So when you click this, it downloads the search history as a .csv file, which you can open up and save. And I recommend, as you're doing a complex search, that you save these and date them. So you might have PubMed search history October 10th, and then you might have PubMed search history October 13th, what have you. And you'll probably have a few of these, because what happens is that you put together some terms like this. And then as you're browsing through those search results, you find that there's some other terms that you would like to put in. As you're reading through people's abstracts or the titles of their articles, you see some synonyms or some related terms that you think you would like to fold into your search strategy as well. So you can come back to your saved .csv file, open it up, copy and paste things from it into a PubMed search, and then add in those new terms and do another search. And so then you would have another search history that you would want to save with name and date. All of these are going to be your documentation when you're writing up the methods section of your review, and it wants to know what search terms you searched and what date you did that searching on. And in your supplementary materials, when you need to show the search tables of the terms that you use, then you'll have these spreadsheets that show exactly what you did so that your work can be understood and reproduced. Like any database, there's a lot to know about PubMed, and this has just touched the surface of the best practices tips that will get you started. Thank you for your attention.